Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of BellyUpSports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at RighteousFelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
Champions League. We're gonna start things off with PSG, bro. You guys had legitimately the easiest pathway.
Trash.
And there was a moment where I thought Barcelona was definitely gonna beat y'all.
We should have, bro.
Yeah, y'all definitely should have. There was.
Araujo, you have blood on your hands, bro. You have fucking blood on your hands, brother. Oh my goodness, man. That red card.
Controversy. Yeah,
he won it for PSG, but anyway.
But yeah, so Borussia Dortmund beats PSG 2-0 in 2 legs, a 1-0 victory on each one. PSG could not get a goal out of that BVB wall, man. And it is, to me, just chef's kiss. Like,
yes.
I loved every minute of it. I think they faced was Borussia Dortmund in PSG's group? That was
yes, the group. Yeah, so the two of the semifinalists were in the group of death with Newcastle and Milan.
Yeah, and holy crap, man! Because Borussia Dortmund won this group. So...
Yeah, bro. I didn't see. Look, man. I'll be honest. I don't think anybody had BVB kind of making this type of run, right? Which is in my opinion, somewhat of a Cinderella run considering their in league form. But PSG, bro, you honestly. They avoided Bayern, who I would have taken Bayern over them all day. They avoided Arsenal. They avoided Madrid. They avoided City. They avoided Atletico. They avoided so many teams by ending up where they did in the latest draw, and it didn't even fucking matter. It didn't matter. If Mbappe was ever going to prove that he belonged with a club as big as Real Madrid, this was your chance to prove it. Now you're just Kevin Durant. You're Kevin Durant. Moving from the Thunder to the Warriors because you couldn't win on your own. That's all it was, right? That's what it feels like with Mbappe. Is like, and nobody wins it on their own. And for those who I'm sure there's people in the comments saying like, well, his team, this is team that. This PSG team was pretty good. Like on paper, pretty good under Luis Enrique. Like not a bad team. Definitely not a slouch. Barcelona should have beat them. Don't get me wrong. As a Barca fan, they should have won. It was 4-2. We were at home and the red card happens 30 minutes in. Like should have won. But when that happens and PSG goes through, everyone assumed they're in the final. It's going to be Mbappe against his new team. We'll see how it all happens. It had strong. Remember when Mario Götze had to play against Bayern Munich with Dortmund, but we all knew what the fuck was going to happen. It felt like that, but then they couldn't do anything. I mean, they hit the post more than a few times in the second leg, but brother, I don't know, man. Mbappe as a striker is not it. If you guys are going to play Mbappe as striker at Madrid, I'm not scared. I'm just not. He's not lethal unless he's a winger.
I think that's unfortunately where he has to be, though.
Yeah, bro. I'm just not scared. Like, he's just not as useful. You know what I mean? Like, he's way more lethal on the wing. And so, if he's going to play striker and have to deal with big center backs, kind of muscle his way through to create chances, I don't know, man. Jude might be able to do a better job, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Jude basically has been. I don't know, man. It's now that you mentioned that, because I mean. Rodrigo could play up top, but he's also, if you're talking about size, he's not going to win many battles on that end. But
you could sell him to go out and get a striker, but I just if the front three is going to be Vinny, Rodrigo, and Mbappe, it's got strong Messi, Neymar, Mbappe vibes to me, like that PSG team, which was good on paper. They scored some pretty badass goals. But when they came up against real sides in the Champions League, it just didn't really match up. Like, they couldn't do it. Real Madrid included. So, like, I don't know, man. It's just like Mbappe as a striker to me doesn't really work. Like, he needs to have another striker to play off of.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what Real Madrid does. I hope they don't let go of Rodrigo. He's my adopted son. So I kind of,
So you would rather get rid of Vini?
No, not. Damn it.
I think you gotta pick one. I think it's gonna be one of them too. That event. If it's not next season, then the season after that, one of them will leave because I don't see a world where they all stay.
Yeah, I feel like Vinny is so untouchable right now at Real Madrid, to the point that it does scare me that Rodrigo might be the guy.
Yeah.
Uh, there's
And
certain players that you're
Arsenal
confident.
will probably get him, right? Like I'm just waiting for Mbappe to go to Real Madrid, 'cause I know that Arsenal's gonna have a shot at whoever Madrid lets go.
I mean, Rodrigo to join forces with my other adopted son Martinelli wouldn't be too bad either.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. I'm
So,
excited for that, bro. 100%. So I don't know, man. Like, it'll be fun to see what happens. But Mbappe as a striker for PSG, not it. 0 goals across 2 legs. Wild.
yeah, very much so. But yeah, Borussia Dortmund eliminates PSG, and then obviously this is all around also the news that Marco Rose will be leaving Borussia Dortmund at the end of the season. Where he's going, nobody really knows. Some people are saying MLS. I would love for him to join the Houston Dynamo. I mean, he's not really much of a goal scorer, but I mean, anything. We'll take anything at this point. So,
Nah, bro, I need that man in Dallas ASAP. I need a cam. I need a great cam that's really to just break the lines and feed some of our forwards, bro. We got guys who can score. We need guys who can find them. I'll take Royce all day.
the worst part is I feel like Edward. It's funny, like even I keep saying, "All right, this is why Edward's gonna start loving the MLS." Messi joins them MLS. Nah.
That'll work. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening.
Luis Suarez joins MLS. I'll get the jersey. Like I'll get the jersey. And then if Marco Ruz comes to the MLS, there's no fucking way Edward doesn't become a fan of that MLS team.
Yeah,
like,
bro. Facts.
Bro, Marco Rose is the reason why Edward loves Borussia Dortmund. Like,
bro, if he ends up going to St. Louis, like the rumor is right now that he might end up there, and it would make sense considering Roman Berkey's also there, former Dortmund player. Bro, that honestly would piss me off. But I mean, a great fan base to go to. He would be massively appreciated. If there's anybody that's close to a Bundesliga vibe, it's probably St. Louis City. But damn, that would suck. But yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Maybe it might happen, maybe not. But right now they're focused on the final.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you guys, you know what? Go ahead, look at the table, and you'll see where Borussia Dortmund is. But hey, Bundesliga did get that last spot in the Champions League. And it more than likely is going to be Borussia Dortmund because they are in that 5th place spot. I think they actually clinched it, actually.
Yeah. Which is sad. That's again, my Bundesliga team is Dortmund. And so it's, I people always say, it's so weird that I support Arsenal, I support Dortmund. Just because, like, traditionally it's like they have a history of quote unquote bottling it. But like it's just like, brother, like 5th place is such a, I don't know, man. Like it's great that Dortmund's in the Champions League final, but if it wasn't, this whole season will be fucking lost.
Yeah. This would be a giant L for them.
Yeah, bro.
I think it helps that the team that they're going to be facing in the final already clinched another Champions League spot for the fact that they won the league, and that's Real Madrid beating Bayern Munich 4-3. First leg was a very contested 2-2 draw, and then the second leg was a very super controversial 2-1 victory in the Bernabeu. All right, I'm just gonna address the elephant in the room. Yes, he was not offside. He was not offside by any means. The reason why it cannot be checked on VAR was because the ref called the offside prematurely, didn't let the play continue. And then obviously the argument that we're having from a lot of the Madridistas, and I stand by this one as well, is when they blew the whistle, you saw the back line take the foot off the pedal, and then obviously then you saw De Ligt score the goal. I'm not gonna say if the play could continue, would it be a goal? Would it not be a goal? I don't know. I'm not a professional defender. I can't tell you what would have happened. But I think the odds do decrease in some level, but I think still an opportunity for a goal to be scored, aside from the ridiculous amount of stoppage time that was added onto this game. But
it was crazy, bro. It was a good hit too, by the way. To be fair to was it De Ligt?
Yeah, it was De Ligt.
Yeah. It was a good hit, like great hit by him as a center back to get that would be goal. But yeah,
the defenders were the highlight of the.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, bro. And look, even that, putting that aside, it's just the controversial part is that, like, Bayern fans now, if they didn't hate Madrid already, They fucking hate Madrid now. And I think it's like it goes back to the 2017 semifinal, right? Where Ronaldo's 2 goals that were offside stood, no VAR back then. And it makes it feel like, you know, I will never go as far as saying Madrid has bought a competition, right? But it does at times. I get where they come from. It feels like it. It's like, bro, only this club is capable of shithousery like this, right? Scoring super late into stoppage time goals, getting a fluke decision from the referee to go their way. It always feels like, especially from a Bayern standpoint. I'll say this as a Barcelona fan. It feels like sometimes the deck is stacked up against you a little bit. But I will say this too. Madrid are the better team. Like this season, across the entire season, they are the better team. Bayern played them very well. I think where they fucked up, in my opinion, and why Bayern deserved to lose was because of Tuchel. Why the fuck would you take off Harry Kane and Jamal Musiala with 20 minutes to play? What do you gain from that? Like, if Madrid do score, how are you going to answer it? Like, what are you going to do when the whole offense is built around Harry Kane? I have this theory on why he's trophyless, bro, to be honest, man. And I think it does come down to him a little bit. But Harry Kane has this tendency as a player, not as a player, I think it's just the aura around him because of what he can do on the ball and how he contributes to the offense moving forward, all the goals he scores, is that the offense for any team that he's on, it tends to be built around him. Like, it just holistically, it does. Doesn't matter how many balls you have around him, the whole thing tends to flow through him. So when the team, when you see this with Spurs before and with Bayern now, you tell yourself as a fan, damn, how many goals he scored in the Bundesliga this season? Like 40? It's been, I don't know, almost Lewandowski's record, right? It's like, isn't he close to it? I think with Spurs, it was kind of the same thing. Like, he legitimately like just had these crazy scoring runs. You're like, dude, he is carrying this fucking team. Why are they not better? And it's because I think in big moments, if he doesn't get on the score sheet, if he doesn't find a way to impact it positively for his side in any way, shape, or form, it looks like just a complete drop off in team performance. And that's how you get these scenarios where at the end of the season, it's trophyless for Harry Kane. He looks like he did really well on paper and his team just failed him, when in reality, so much of what the team does revolves around him. And maybe it just means that he's missing out on those moments where the team really needs him to come up big and get them over the line into the next round or onto the next game to be title contenders or whatever it may be. This is not foreign territory for him, though. And it's, to me, it's this Bayern team this year. It kind of like was an epiphany moment for me as a football fan. Like, there has to be a reason with him that these teams are good, but never good enough to win a trophy.
No, yeah, I think, and I mean, like, a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is a trash Bayern Munich team," and I'm like,
no, hell no.
I mean, a team literally has to go undefeated to finally end their streak. Like, I mean, like, when you look at the table, like, their record isn't really that bad. Like, compared to the other Bayern Munich teams, I think they lost some really disappointing matches, but I mean, Bayern Munich has done that many times, even with Robert Lewandowski. They always have that one weird game. Usually it's against Hoffenheim, where they end up losing to them for some weird reason. Most of the time it's because Robert Lewandowski's on the bench. But I don't think that Bayern Munich was essentially bad, but it is crazy that the year that Harry Kane leaves Tottenham to go to a team like Bayern Munich, which everyone expected, like, well, now he's got to win a trophy. It's the year that this team can't even win the German Super Cup. So I mean, it is it's pretty insane for Harry Kane. I definitely feel for him, but yeah, Tuchel, just boneheaded decision.
He bottled it, bro.
To take out your 2 best attacking players. For some reason, going full defensive when you know what Real Madrid does in the final minutes of any match. And it's crazy to think that from of all people to come in and be the clutchest player possible when you have a team that comprises of Jude Bellingham, of Vinicius Jr., of Rodrigo, Valverde, who's also my adopted son, Camavinga, also fun statistic, Tchouaméni, Real Madrid hasn't lost when Tchouaméni starting. That's just a weird statistic that someone has tracked, but that's impressive. But with all those players, and then mind you, the back line hasn't been 100% also for Real Madrid this year.
Yeah.
You don't have David Alaba. You don't have Militao just became healthy, so you've been rotating Tchouaméni in the back line with Nacho and Rudiger just being the dog that he is. So it's been a crazy year, and also Lunin, your third string goalkeeper has become the. Let's be honest, guys. I would have picked Lunin over Kepa any day. So I don't think he's a third choice keeper. He was definitely my second choice. But they went after Kepa for a loan. So
yeah, it is what it is, man. But I mean, again, and to go back for those who are still screaming that shit from the rooftops that Bayern Munich were a trash team this season, they already have more. And there's still a game to go, maybe two for them. I'm not really sure, one or two at least. It might just be one, but they're already above the point total that they had last season when they won the Bundesliga. So let that shit sink in. Like Hector already said, they needed a team not just to go undefeated, but to just be as good for an entire season as Leverkusen have been this year, with the Harry Kane, who has scored nearly 40 Bundesliga goals, to beat this version of Bayern Munich, who is not a bad team on paper. It did just in a weird, funky kind of few months run of form, but it hasn't even been the whole season. It wasn't until like January that they started kind of losing random games to opposition that they really shouldn't have been. But in this competition, they are one of the most decorated teams in the competition's history. Like Bayern Munich are them, bro. They just won it not even that long ago. Right. So I don't know, was it 4 seasons ago? So, and granted, it was COVID, but whatever. Like they still won it. At the end of the day, like this was going to be a good tie. I was ready for it. They had a chance to win it. And due to managerial tactics, as well as maybe just some of the mentality of this team, Real Madrid took advantage.
yeah, and Joselu to be the guy to score 2 goals in a matter of minutes to secure the Champions League spot. A guy that has been playing with Espanyol across La Liga, and he's always been a Madridista, and for him to finally play for Real Madrid alone, a very cheap loan option. I believe it's like 1.5 million buyback clause for him if Real Madrid wants to keep him. Obviously he kind of got overshadowed because obviously Real Madrid was once again going after Kylian Mbappe. And then obviously Real Madrid doing the weird funky 4-4-2 diamond formation, which I guess I can't be complaining too much about because it worked.
It worked. Yeah, it worked. But, and I think what Real Madrid's formation also showed attacking wise, bro, is that like it doesn't matter who you guys have at striker. It really doesn't. Like you look at, it's gonna sound weird to say, you look at Benzema before he left. Fantastic. Now he's literally making enemies at his own team in Saudi because he's bitching about the fact that he hasn't scored as many goals and he's not getting the service that he gets and whatever, right? Like it just lets you know that the wing play and the midfield play from Real Madrid is so elite that it doesn't matter who you have up there. It could be Benzema, it could be Jude, who's never scored that many goals in a season in his life, right? Before this, we never saw him doing this in Dortmund. And now you throw Joselu in there, he scores 2, in stoppage time to take Real Madrid to the final. It solidifies to me that it doesn't really matter who's playing at number 9. You just need to have the same quality play out in the wings and behind in the midfield to get the striker the ball, and the striker should finish.
Yeah, exactly that. But now I have a awkward conversation in the future whenever I have a child where I have to explain to the mother of my child that we have to somehow throw Joselu into that name.
Hell yeah.
Because I shouted that out of the rooftops. Also, I always make this as like a promise to people that does like a random nice thing to me that I'll name my firstborn child after them. I've said this to men and women, so it's just become a joke that I keep saying. But I don't know. I feel like this one actually means something. But yeah,
I like that.
But when you're talking about storylines, you got Borussia Dortmund, Marco Rose's swan song, essentially. That's what's going to be, versus Real Madrid, a team that has been undefeated in Champions League finals, a team that has Jude Bellingham, who, we talk about how Erling Haaland's first season with Man City win and how it was epic.
Yeah.
I mean, Jude Bellingham basically said, "Hold my beer," because he had an amazing year, a year that some people might throw him in the Ballon d'Or discussion. Scored more goals than I have ever thought he was going to score, because I didn't expect him to be a goal scorer for Real Madrid of all things. and now he's in the Champions League, won La Liga, now he's in the Champions League final in Wembley Stadium, going up against his former team. And then on the other side, you have Borussia Dortmund, who Marco Rose, obviously the farewell tour that's now happening for him.
Yeah.
But also you have Jadon Sancho giving the middle finger to Manchester United as he has a chance at a Champions League trophy.
Which would be hilarious, considering that United bowed out, kicked out of groups, despite the fact they had a keeper they just bought for 60 million, who was literally in the Champions League final the season before. I don't know, man. It's kind of it's ironic in the best way possible for Sancho. But I will say this about Bellingham, bro. I still think if anyone's giving Ballon d'Or shouts on Real Madrid, which there should be, a few players maybe in that mix, it has to be Vinny.
Yeah.
I think Jude has had like a crazy 6 to 7 month spell to kick off the season. I think he's slowed down a little bit in the past few months. But I think, again, like I said before, I think Jude is a product of the play he was kind of getting around him. And some of those goals were pretty scrappy, right moment, right time, right service from Vinny or from Rodrigo or anybody else. I give a lot of credit to like the wing play, and specifically, I think Vinny this season has been pretty clutch all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, also Jude Bellingham is super massive, so I mean,
Yeah.
he definitely knows how to win some headers in those. Wow, I'm drawing blanks on these names, but
yeah, those Vinny crosses where Rodrigo causes. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, bro. I think, like I said, nothing to take away from Jude. All right, Madrid says chill. All right, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. If he gets it, cool. I just think you're kind of overlooking a player who's been instrumental to his success this season.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of Real Madrid. I mean, every time that there's a team that's having a pretty good season, there's going to be a bunch of names being dropped from that team into the Ballon d'Or. I mean, last year was pretty much the starting 11 for Man City.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
exactly.
So Real Madrid might be that team that we're going to see. But yeah, this is going to be an insane final. It's going to be played in Wembley. For Jude Bellingham, for both Jude Bellingham and Jadon Sancho to be able to play that in their home country is going to be just super fun to watch. But yeah, this final is going to be amazing. Obviously I'm super biased on who's going to win come June 1st.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a fun final. I can't wait. Obviously we'll do a real preview when we get to it, but I feel like some people expected to see Real Madrid in the final. Maybe, just because it's Real Madrid, Champions League is what they're known for. But
yeah,
I don't think anybody saw Borussia Dortmund in here.
No, man, not at all. I think if anybody saw anybody from that side of the bracket, like I said, it was going to be PSG. And if it wasn't PSG, it may be a Barcelona, and we get like an El Clasico final. That would have been dope. But yeah, man, I think, who knows? The El Clasicos that we did have this season, Real Madrid winning both of them in the league, probably may end up being better games than what we see in the final, just depending on what version of Dortmund really shows up. But it'll be emotional, both sides, right? Jude wanting to obviously get his Champions League title in Wembley in his home country with his new side, playing against his old team versus, Sancho being in kind of in a redemption arc right now. Marco Reus, last season, those emotions going in his last Champions League final with Dortmund. Dortmund having a terrible year, but can possibly save it all with one game of their life. So yeah, man, there's so many storylines here. It's very much David versus Goliath, but I still think it's going to be a banger final. At least I'm hoping it will be. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when Barcelona took on Juventus, I thought that was going to be a very exciting final, and we were very much wrong on that one.
Yeah, I actually thought kind of the opposite. I thought we were going to honestly smoke them, and then they put up more of a fight than I thought they would. Like when it was 2-1, I was a little bit scared. But hopefully this goes better. I don't want this to kind of go the way the last time Bayern played Dortmund in the final. It was 0-0 all the way to the end. That cheeky Arjen Robben goal, right? Where he kind of just very slowly kind of slid it past the keeper and it went in the 88th minute. I kind of want it to be a banger all the way through. I want Dortmund to get chances. I want Madrid to get chances. If I'm being biased, I'd love for Madrid to lose. But they've won so many at this point. Who cares? I just want to see Dortmund do something meaningful in my time as a fan who, if I watch the Bundesliga, I'm usually watching them. So just redeem the season a little bit, man, because it was pretty disappointing all the way around.
Yeah, very true. But yeah, June 1st, that's going to be the final. So put that on your calendars for the Champions League final. It's going to be the last official match in Europe.